forget what I wanted to do next. Hello and welcome to Trail Shack. I'm Ian Johnson, and today we've got a guest rider with us. It is Euan Beaden.
Hello.
Hello.
Need my tea. Look at this matching mugs.
Cheers.
Oh, look at that. Cheers. Thanks for inviting me on.
That's right. Euan's a street trials rider from Waterlooville. I'll show that on the Trail Shack map.
Yeah. I started on a mod years ago, did a few competitions, but then the Hampshire comps where I was going to, they shut down unfortunately, so I just started going into the street and, you know, breaking the mods. They weren't designed for it. I was doing good there. Yeah, and then I got an Onza Zoo. I snapped that in a few weeks, and then yeah, just started progressing through, you know, doing Inspired and all of those bikes, and yeah, obviously now I'm riding for Extension, and I'm on one of their bikes.
And you've got your bikes with you today, so we'll have a look at those in a little
I've
while.
got my bikes with me.
So before we get into a few more questions of Euan, then let's have a look at some of his recent riding clips. Who are your first riding influences? So who are your riding idols when you started?
When I very first started, well, obviously I think the main one, shock, is probably going to be Danny Mac. Mainly just because obviously it was so different at the time. I only just started riding. You know, I had a bit of a BMX background before I started trials, but and obviously he kind of bridged the gap between the two. But other than that, obviously, you know, Ali C is my favourite all-time kind of rider. But then, you know, closely followed by people like Chris O'Krigg, Martin Ashton, those people. I'm, you know, quite lucky to have met all of those people as well. Yeah, they pretty much like set the bar quite early on, really, for, you know, how I wanted to ride and, you know, try and be like.
How long have you been riding for?
Oh God, good question. I always say, oh, it's been about 10 years, but I've been saying that for probably a few years now. I started riding in 2008, like the comps. I only did the comps for about a year and a half. 2011 was the year I won the streetlight sessions in Bristol.
Yeah.
You were there for that, weren't you?
Yeah, that was after Radfest, because I was.
That was after Radfest. Oh yeah, you were on crutches. That's right.
I had to go on Danny's bike, because that was when he just had the orange.
That was the orange sky one, yeah, and everyone was there. It was kind of like it was like planned but wasn't planned, because I was staying with a mate in Bristol anyway, and we were riding. We just thought, oh, you know, we should go to that, that'd be cool, you know. And then at the time I was kind of supported by Inspired, and they were there obviously, and invited me in to ride, and obviously everyone was there. Chris Donier and Andre was there, Burton, Tony Cliff was there. You had people like obviously Ali C, Danny, Chris O'Krigg was there, Martin Ashton was still riding then.
Chris was on crutches at the same time, I remember.
He was, that's right, yeah, there's a lot of people on crutches. But yeah, that was definitely a highlight early on, you know. It kind of made me realise that, you know, I had a good shot at, you know, doing well at, you know, the riding and stuff.
Oh, you went up to that rail?
Yeah, so it was a rail only about a foot off the floor, but it was off the floor, and it was covered in grip tape, but even still it was pretty wet that night as well. But yeah, I had this thought, right, I could, you know, go up to this rail and hop onto it on my front wheel and then do a downside whip, so spin the bike one way, 180, and I go the other, meet in the middle. And it took me the whole evening, and I think that was what made me win it, because they were just like, well, you know, you just had that perseverance apparently. But I landed it in the end, but yeah, I don't know if it was worth it. You know, the whole evening. But that's right, yeah. I should have bought that as well. It's on my wall. That was good times.
It was
good times, yeah. They should do another one of those events. Red Bull. That was good.
Should drop some more hints to Danny.
Yeah,
I'm sure we can make it happen.
I should have a Red Bull here and just, you know, like thank my sponsors again.
Some in the fridge.
Oh my God, is it?
Got some in for you.
Shout out Red Bull. If you watch.
I'm
not sponsored by Red Bull.
Is this something that you and George do?
Well, yeah. George and I have quite a few in jokes. Apart from the fact we just obviously slate everyone. Well, no, slate each other for how bad we are at riding. When in fact, actually, we're just trying to spur each other on. When there's been a lot of group rides this year, despite ironically all this COVID stuff going on.
Well, I found that this year in particular, a lot of riders are getting back into riding.
They are. A lot of them are. Yeah.
And obviously some people have had more time to go riding, but also just refocusing what do you enjoy, what do you want to spend your time doing is something that's influenced.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, yeah, like I've been riding with George Thompson a lot. We're quite a similar level now as well, really. And it's nice to see him progress as well, and it means that we can hit the same stuff and session the same lines. And aside from all the banter we share, which is half of it for us now. But yeah, I've also been riding with a lot of the others, like Luke Walder, Sean Goddard, Rob Leach, Josh Leach. They're all kind of like regulars that we go on rides most weeks on a Wednesday or Thursday, and we just go around to a different place each week. And it's really opened my eyes to the different locations. Like me and you have been to Plymouth as well, which was cool.
Yeah.
I've got a mod now, which obviously we'll talk about in a bit.
I wanted to ask you about the South Downsway challenge that you've just done.
Yes.
What day did you set off?
It was Friday.
Friday at midnight.
At midnight.
100 miles in a day.
Yes.
Up and down hills and stuff.
That's right.
And you've been doing it for Macmillan.
Yeah, it's something I've wanted to do in a day for years and years, because I've done the route a few times now.
Okay.
And I know of people doing it in a day and stuff like that, and I thought, well, it'd be a good challenge. It's something that's quite close to my heart in a way, because it's really local and it's down south, and I like that. I like those kind of mental challenges, as we were saying on my other riding.
Yeah.
Getting over these challenges. This one's obviously slightly different. It's more of like there's some perseverance in there, but just really just digging deep and trying to break down those barriers and just keep going. Even though you're absolutely knackered. But yeah, so I thought, well, I can hit two birds with one stone and raise some money for charity, because there's been quite a few people in my family that have died from cancer, and Macmillan have definitely helped them.
That's what I was going to ask, what the link was.
Yeah,
to the charity.
yeah, that's right. So it was my nan mostly affected me, because I grew up a lot with her.
Presumably people can still donate as well. So
you can now. That's right. Yeah. So it's still open.
A link up for that.
Still open. I'll get the link shared. I'm close to Butser Hill, which is actually a point of intersection for the South Downs route, so I could actually train on a little bit of it. But yeah, I didn't really do a lot of training. Underestimated it again, even though I did it before, like a couple months ago.
How quickly it passes.
Yeah, it does. And I was quite naive to think, wow, it's done it once. It was lovely weather. It was fine. I can do that in a day, because I'll be carrying less gear. It'll be fine, won't it? I was riding for about 6.5 hours in the dark at night. Didn't meet a single person, and at that point, I was like, that was a low point definitely, because I felt so drained, and my body was trying to think, well, why aren't you in bed? And I think it just started to shut down almost, because I just didn't have anything, even though I kept eating these these energy gels and stuff. Nothing was happening. I just thought, right, I need to shut my eyes, so I just had to ditch my bike and just sit on the trail for like 20 minutes.
I remember seeing that update. I'd seen I followed you on your Instagram story.
Yeah.
It said that you just close your eyes for like 10 minutes, then you were back riding again.
That's right, and I got quite cold in those 10 minutes, because it was cold. It was really windy, because autumn had just been officially announced that week, and I thought, I'll be alright. We had some decent weather recently, but that week dropped off a lot, and I remember looking at the weather where I was at one point, and the wind chill was 3 degrees, and I was like, yeah, this is not good. This is not. I think that was the worst thing about that was just how cold it was, because if I'd stopped for too long, then I would have been in some serious trouble. And of course, in the middle of nowhere, you've got to just keep going and keep yourself warm, even if it was slow. But yeah, so I had a puncture at 2:30 in the morning. I was tubeless, but it just ripped through the tyre, and I had to change the tube out, which you never want to do. And then I got another puncture in the same tyre, the front tyre, halfway through the day, and I was like, oh god, please, and, so I had to fix that. And, a lot of issues, but it makes it more of an adventure, I think. And as you said, you saw my stories. They're saved on my Instagram, so there's a highlight, and I've just put all of the stories from that day and the lead up, and yeah, to that, so you can check out my full recap of that. And yeah,
Cool. And obviously you didn't do this on your extension, but you've got your other bikes with you today, so
that would have been very hard. Yeah. Let's go
have a look at your bikes.
Yeah, definitely. Cool.
Yeah, you can have a hot seat. Hot seat. Yeah. Pink hot seat. Yeah. So tell me about it.
Tell you about it. Well, so this is the range topping full carbon street bike. So as it says in the name, you've got full carbon frame and forks. You know, that's why they look quite weird. They're all designed to be quite stiff.
Carbon bars?
Yeah, I've got carbon bars as well on this. They're an option.
That's the chickens.
So yeah, all in all, it makes the bike quite light. I wouldn't say it makes you a better rider. I just think it's a lot easier to do things on. You know what I mean?
So you do notice a difference with the weight?
I do, up to a certain point, as I said, but mainly it's the how it reacts when you land and stuff. It's you'd think because it's really stiff and it's carbon, it would just all go through your body like aluminium does, but it actually doesn't. The carbon's quite well known as a material to absorb a lot of the impact itself. And that's why having a carbon frame is really beneficial, because obviously it's got no welds and joints, it's all laid up and, you know, in a single mould, so it distributes all of the shock through the whole frame. So when I'm riding it, I feel like I can ride for longer because it's not really jarring, and I don't get as tired riding it. You know, for instance, if I rode like an alley bike for a long period of time. But it is quite light though. Obviously the front end being carbon bars, carbon forks, that is really light. You can really notice that. But you get used to it. You get used to any bike you ride really. So
do you know what it weighs in at?
Yeah, roughly. I've only used one of those like analog ones, but I think it's around 9.23 kilos. Yeah, it's pretty light for a street bike.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could get it lighter if I went, you know, really light on the wheels and the tyres and stuff. But I like these wheels. They're like really strong street wheels. I mean, they're quite renowned. You know, Hope Hubs, obviously.
Pro 2s.
Yeah, they're actually Pro 2 Evos, so they're like going back a bit now. But
yeah,
they're really good. And if you haven't broken them, you can buy replacement bearings for, well, a lot cheaper than you can buy new hubs. So I've been doing that for years. The same with the back. It's Pro 2 Evo. It's a lot louder than the Pro 4s because it's got half the amount of the engagements. So you get, with the Pro 2, you've got 2 sets of pulls engaging at once, whereas with the Pro 4 you haven't, which is why it's quieter. But again, it works, it works. Yeah, I've got spank rims, U-bar rims, they're tubeless ready. I am running tubeless. Have been for a while now, pretty much since Ali C tried it, and I thought, well, I'll give that a go. But it's been really good.
But you don't run inserts, do you?
I don't run the inserts. I did for a bit. I didn't buy them. I like made my own, like Ali C did. I you know, bought some closed cell foam and tried it myself, and it did work to a point. But I run my pressures quite hard, like hard enough to not really rim out a lot.
How hard is that? 50?
That is that's actually about 40 psi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these tyres, they're quite bulky, they're like dual ply tyres. They're quite stiff and heavy. You can run them quite low pressures, and they feel like they're a lot harder than they are, which is good as well. They're really tough. I've only ever got a puncture in these once, not this specific set, but my old set, and that was when I did a massive gap.
The rolling gap in
ports. Insert clip now. And yeah, I got a massive snake bite on that, but that was pretty heavy duty, and it's not really like normal riding. That was like a knife edge as well.
Yeah.
But no, the tubeless has been great. They seat on there really well, and I don't really get a lot of tyre fold because I have them pressure's quite high.
Extension integrated bash guard.
Yeah. So I actually think these are really good. Now they look a bit bulky, but that's because they are a bit bulky. But I like that because if you're going to have a bit of bulk, you want it where you're going to smash it on stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I've been, the only reason why I've changed these is just because they get so light. Well, I just think, well, I've got a few to spare, I should probably change it just because it hasn't broken in so long. I should, just keep changing. But there's quite a lot of clearance between this diameter and where the chain sits, whereas I find the inspired one, it sits a lot closer to it. Now yes, they are a lot lighter, you save a lot of weight with the inspired one, but I think you get more clearance away from the chain, which you don't want to hit. And these are much stronger because they've left that material in there, and I think they're a bit cheaper as well. I'm not, you know, slating inspired ones or anything like that, they're really good, but yeah, I've had no issues with this one at all. And yeah, they fit onto these SRAM cranks, all the extension cranks. There's been a lot of rumours about, you know, me like snapping frames and stuff, but I haven't actually. This is my original frame. I've had these
for over a year, haven't you?
not quite a year. Yeah, I got it just before Christmas.
Okay.
2019. So, but I've been riding it pretty hard. I think harder than I've ever ridden a bike. But that's just because I get along with it really well. It's proven to be like the ideal street bike for me.
Okay, on to bike number 2.
I briefly said earlier about I started on a mod years and years ago. You know, when I was doing the Hampshire comps.
Yeah.
So there's always been a bit of a soft spot for these bikes. I mean, I can ride a stock. I've had to go on a few people's, but I don't know. Something about getting a dual disc mod again really kind of, you know, interested me. Especially as I ride with a lot of TGS people, and we do that kind of riding during the week. So it's nice to be able to now session a lot of the same lines and stuff as that. Plus, you know, it's quite satisfying moving between both bikes, because obviously they're completely different, and I do a lot more, you know, trailsy lines on this, and it's, you know, it's not as if I do the same stuff on each bike. I don't try and do manuals and 360s and all those kind of things on this. I just keep it to what it's designed for. It's quite nice.
Yeah.
But it complements the riding I find on the other bike, so, you know, I improve on this and it helps the other. I managed to talk with Ben Walsh at Trails Addict, and he managed to sort this out for me. So this was a frame that he was riding as a spare bike a few years ago, but it was pretty much in mint condition. And then yeah, I just said to him, look, this is what I want. I don't want anything too aggressive. You know, I mean, I've ridden Charlie Rolls's bike, and that's just insane.
Yeah.
And it's definitely one end of the scale. But this is kind of in the middle, so it's not too much pure street, but it's a bit, you know, it's a bit of both. So my bars are slightly tilted forward, but much more kind of streety set up that way, so it's easier to transition from my street bike.
Well, thanks very much for coming on the show.
Not a problem.
Really easy for me, because you did most of the talking.
Anyone who knows me, I don't shut up.
I need to mention the giveaway. The giveaway is still on. We'll be picking the winner at random when we get to the 500 subscriber mark. To be in with a chance of winning, then you need to leave a comment and be a subscriber on any of the Trials Shack videos. Because it's picked at random, then the more comments you leave, the more chance you've got of winning. The competition prizes are a year free entry to Radical Bikes for the year 2021.
Epic.
And a hoodie that was contributed by Rich from Team Rocket. So leave a comment, let me know what you'd like to see more of, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.
Bye.